Hello, it's Chris from Portma, and we're talking about showcasing success with data. And it's interesting because people will always tell you they want access to their data, but in reality, they want you to deliver it to them. They want information pushed to them, even though they'll tell you they want to be able to pull it down. And you can deliver the most beautiful dashboards and the most amazing reports, but the reality is they're not going to read it. They're not going to look at it. They're going to want you to explain it to them, to walk them through in a meeting, in a webinar, in a video call. They're going to want you to share with them what those findings are and what those implications are. And so the responsibility turns to you to be that presenter that's going to allow this information to be used. If you remember back to things we've said before, data is valuable when it helps us make decisions. And we need to look at the decisions that our stakeholders need to make, the information that's going to help them make those decisions. We went out and got the data in order to have that information, and we analyzed it. We reported it in a way that we thought was going to facilitate their use and decision making out of the data. Now we have to hand feed that to them so they'll actually internalize that message. So if you're following the Portma methodology, you're going to have 3 different main sections to your report. And those are going to be sections that align with those key questions. How often am I reaching the right kind of consumer? Am I creating intent where it didn't previously exist? And under what circumstances is the return on investment, or ROI, highest? Now, that is going to be a format that we have seen successful with recap reports for really the last 15 years. But regardless of the approach that you're taking, you want to make sure there's a reason why every page is where it is in the deck, and that the pages that are up front are setting the stage or the story for the pages that will come later. Typically that's done by introducing your segments in the beginning. So what do I mean by segments? In your data, you have things that you did, and you have the outcome of those things you did. And those things you did are more often than not things that you have control over. There are things that were introduced as a part of what you designed for your client, and as a part of the components that make up the marketing that you delivered. And so we operationalize those down to individual variables that we can use as segments to then segment the outcomes that we created. And that's where they're going to find the actionability, but we'll talk about that more in a second. What I need right now is using those segments and introducing them to the client. So for example, if we are looking at the question of how often am I reaching the right consumer? And so that is a percent of time that men or women, for example, or a certain age group are present at a venue. Those are the outcomes in this question. And then the segment there are the types of venues that I chose. And so the first thing I want to do in my report is I want to introduce what will later become those segments. I want to introduce those venues.